Usually we say something like, welcome to the, and then the meeting. So like the KubeBuilder triage meeting for, what's today? The 20th of October, 2020. And then, yeah, this is going to be recorded and posted on YouTube. So as Gabby said, be nice.
All right, I've started recording so we can get this show on the road.
You can do the introduction, Gabby.
Yeah, so Camila and I had, like the introduction that Solly said?
Yeah.
Yeah. So welcome to the very first KubeBuilder bug triage meeting or issue triage meeting on October 20th. This will be recorded, and this meeting will be recorded and potentially put in venues like YouTube. So just make sure to be nice, and I'm looking forward to seeing how we start our formalizing triaging processes. All right.
All right. So the first idea is we try to triage all issues that are not in a milestone. We are open to suggestions as define a new flow. The milestones that we have now are these ones. So we have the V3, which in my mind would be just tasks that would be a block for we do that release. The V3 plugin, things that should be specific for, should be addressed in the V3 Plus plugin. And the next one, which would be anything next. So let's start. Or someone, would you like to say something, to do some suggestion?
Just a note, I think Kubernetes in general has added like a triage bot that adds the untriaged label, and then we can add the triage label. I think milestone probably will work fine for us as well, but if we wanted to do that, that might make it also, that is also another alternative.
Yes, I think I saw triage.
Yeah, there you go. Needs triage and then triage accepted, etc.
Okay, so what do you think about it today? We started to look into these ones and put triage accepted or not, and for the next one, we change the filter for all that has no triage labels.
Sounds good to me.
So, okay. Let's start. This one, it's one issue that I raised yesterday in the SDK meeting. We was speaking about this scenario. It shows that for Ansible and Helm operators, for some cluster it's not possible make it run, and this was the solution. So the idea of this issue is just track that we might need to check this. So the idea is just check if they make it runs in this kind of clusters, and if not, we could try see if everybody agrees in addressing the same solution.
So the fix for this was adding an import for the, what was it, the GCP plugin as like a dummy import, so that the auth plugin works. And I think what we were talking about yesterday was adding this by default to the scaffolded main.go in KubeBuilder. Is that correct?
Yes, but I think we need to check if he has the problem first, because in that user that raised the concern, which was this issue, he was using the GKE cluster, and it and all was working fine for him when he was running the operator locally. So I'm not sure if we have this problem. So I think, my humble opinion, that we need to reproduce the problem, and then if it really happens, apply the solution.
For what it's worth, I believe we do import at least the GCP plugin by default. I don't remember about the other ones in the scaffolding. I think off the top of my head, I can double check. But if we don't, it seems if we're doing that and we're not doing it for the others, it seems reasonable just to switch to the general auth in the scaffolding.
So we can put a triage accepted. Would you like to put in some milestone, or we don't need to work with the milestones at all?
Let's put it in the next milestone, I guess. I think we have yeah. I don't think there's any particular pressure on this, but we can move it once it gets accepted or once it gets implemented.
Just a quick question about labeling. I'm of the opinion that we shouldn't be adding good first issue or help wanted to anything unless it's been triaged or we're like really sure, because issues being created might not actually be things that we want worked on before discussion happens. So would everybody be okay with not doing that until we have these triage meetings or until there's been some agreement between at least two people that they should be added?
Sorry, I missed part of that. Can you say the beginning again?
Yeah, I'm of the opinion that help wanted and good first issue should be added until it's been agreed on that we actually want to work on an issue and that discussion has been concluded.
Yeah, I can say for I guess for what it's worth, I think it's probably usually fine for, we might want to have an additional label for like this needs investigation. I don't know. I am usually tempted to add good first issue.
By the way, I think it should be a good
on things that are like a little bit more obvious. They don't need as much discussion initially. Sometimes those turn into things that do need discussion occasionally by accident, but I think that's fine. I don't know. I think in the context of more complicated things, getting agreement is probably good. How is good first issue? Was this just prompted by this particular issue or?
I just noticed it on a few things that I would like to discuss before we actually start working on them. I just don't want to have people from the community starting to work on stuff and then we're like, wait, we actually don't want this because it's not a great experience for them. I don't think that happens very often. So maybe my fear is unfounded. I just like to default to not adding those unless I know it's a very simple issue to resolve and that it's pretty well agreed on the solution.
That's fair. I guess I think the main question is the assumption that we're only doing triage during these meetings then, or is the assumption that like the kind of the people on the approvers list or whatever are going to be doing intermediate triage during the week if they see stuff come up and notice it's interesting? because like I think that's the case where like that question comes up more, right? Like if like an issue comes in and you read through it because like it happens to come in while you're looking or something like that, or like someone pings you about it, and it looks interesting, do you say, okay, I've read through this, I'm gonna mark it as triaged because someone pinged me and I read through it, and in that case, like maybe you add help wanted, or do you say, okay, I read through it, I add a comment, but we'll wait till the meeting, even though I've read through it?
Well, I would certainly expect people to be triaging during the week, but not necessarily removing the triage accepted label, which I think is is that what we're using to sort issues for this meeting?
Yeah, sorry, not removing the triage, adding the triage accepted label.
Okay, so if it has triage accepted label, then we will be looking at it during this meeting?
No, so triage accepted means someone has read through it. So like the default state of an issue,
Gotcha.
and there's a prow bot we need to turn on for this. The default state of the issue is untriaged or needs triage, I think it's needs triage. And then once triage accepted means someone has marked this as confirmed that this is an interesting, not an interesting issue, but like this is an issue that we like in some capacity have decided to like tackle or something, right? And then there's other ones. There's like triage duplicate, which indicates that we're going to close it and it's a duplicate of something else. Triage needs more information, which means, kind of as it says in this hint, we haven't confirmed that it's an issue we want to deal with because we're waiting for more information, etc. So in this meeting, we'd probably end up just looking at triage, needs triage, and anything that had triage accepted or triage needs more information or whatever, we wouldn't look at. We might follow up on needs more information to see if they've been updated, but like triage accepted means we're done with triage, basically.
Okay, thanks for clarifying that.
And in my opinion, if someone raised one issue and the other person started to work on that, maybe has two persons that think that is nice. So at least.
Sorry, go ahead, Camille.
No, so actually she's something that shows that she can be interested, you know. I think it's fine. We say, okay, we decided not to move with that, but I don't think we need to like block the contributions, you know. How much more contributions, it's better.
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement with Camilla here. I think probably our false positive rate is pretty low. I guess like for people doing intermediate triage, just, you know, exercise your best judgment. Probably I'd also, I don't know what the permissions on the good first issue and help wanted are, but like I think we probably should roughly restrict those to reviewers and approvers in the repo. And I think probably with that we'll end up with like a pretty low false positive rate. And you know, if we do end up starting to get a higher false positive rate, I think we can revisit it and do something like what you suggested originally, Eric. But like I think for now we're probably fine just having people apply help wanted.
I'm in agreement.
At least that's my feeling.
About this one, can we put a good first issue because it's very simple? So
yeah, it's pretty simple. The other thing that I usually do with good first issue, I haven't been doing it as much on this repo, but I usually try to do it in controller runtime and controller tools. Is like, if you notice, one of the things the good first issue bot says is make sure you have a clear description, and or if it's testable, have a clear description of tests. I usually just try to add a comment at the very bottom, or you can do it in here too, that just says like, the thing you probably need to do, like the place you need to start looking is X. The things you'll need to have at the end are Y. So you can go back and do that afterwards, or we can do it now just as an example. It's actually probably good to have an example on the meeting recording. So why don't we do that now? But just usually just like for this one, I'd probably say something like, you know, edit the scaffold for v3 to replace the /GCP line with the /auth line linked above, and then regenerate the golden files and make sure they look good. And that way someone comes in and is not just like, either like, this is marked good as first issue, but I don't have the context of where to start. And they're also not, we also don't like end up being like, well, why didn't you like do this thing that's like, I guess, maybe obvious to people who have been working on the project for a while, but might not be obvious to like a new person as like, this is like the confirmation step or whatever.
I will get to choose one. I will make a note here and I will try to provide more details. Feel like you said.
Okay, cool, excellent.
Okay, the next one would be, okay, this one, I put it good first issue, I will remove. Okay. Okay, this one, we started to make a discussion in a pull request. The image plugin have been scaffolded in this file. This file is valid just for webhooks. And in my opinion, since it's just valid for webhooks, should be scaffolding the webhooks plugins, because as a developer, I can decide to consume the KubeBuilder package and have just the init plugin and the create plugin, create API plugin. So, or as a developer, I can create a project and don't use webhooks at all. And I think that Patrick also said something like that another day, that is very confusing for the users, have so many configuration files. So why we should scaffold the files that they are not using actually?
I think, yeah, I think this is probably reasonable for v3, but it's kind of contingent on the idea of keeping track of
v3 plus.
Keeping track of webhooks. Yeah, we because we need to like only do it on the first webhook, right? Or probably only do it on the first webhook. So like as long as we have a list of like, does this project have webhooks, or so as long as we have some way to tell, does this project have webhooks enabled, I think this is probably fine for the v3 plugin. But do other people have any other thoughts?
Yeah, my thought is just so that is like, when we will scaffold the webhook, we check, has this file, if not, so great. So very simple.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think this also ties into the larger discussion about how we're going to pass in webhook and CRD versions. But this is a step in the direction of using or passing in that information into the create webhook plugin.
I think some of this might also tie into, we had some discussions, I think, at some point around maybe thinking about changing how we do our configuration, like assembly. I think a few months ago we had a meeting with Phil where Phil discussed some issues and potential solutions. I think we could maybe that also kind of ties in. I don't know what the timeline is for us thinking about that, but like at some point we may also want to start considering that again.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know what the status is on that, but I'm definitely looking forward to hearing more.
Okay. So about the labels, this has someone that he started to work on that, has a pull request already, but it shows very simple as well. Can we put a good first issue or help you wanted? Or can you just leave? And
I don't really know how, I guess it is fairly straightforward. I wouldn't put good first issue, but help wanted is fine, in my opinion. And then triage accepted.
Yeah, I usually save good first issue for things that are either fairly small or fairly self-contained, and that are unlikely to require a lot of discussion.
Sure.
So yeah.
Makes sense. So this one, it's another one. I don't know if the Christopher is here. If he is here, would you like to speak? Let's see. No, he's not. But this one, actually, it's like he's doing a project and he would like to move the main goal for the CMG director, which is kind of similar to this issue. Change the scaffolds. And he would like have some option like when we scaffold the APIs or into the webhooks, allow ignore the main goal, for example. I put here the comment that Solly made before about the plugin phase 2. I believe that it is maybe something that we could check after have the plugin phase 2 implemented. What do you think, folks?
Yeah, this is like directly related to 932. And I would say is not, well, I wouldn't do anything with this until 932 is resolved in some way. Because then we're just adding like more like optionality into the, like baking that into the binary itself, and this should be done as a phase 2 plugin instead.
Should we consider duplicate of this one? Because this one is to move the main goal to CMG director as in the past.
I don't think it needs to be a duplicate. I think it can just be a blocked on, so to speak. I think if there's not already a blocked on triage label, we can request that they get added one. We can always add our own too. You should have permissions to do that, I think. Call it like triage blocked or something like that.
One resolve it, not reproduce it. Yeah, it doesn't have. Yeah. Let's see if it has
just add a triage set. Just add a triage / blocked. Just type triage / blocked and hit create new label at the bottom.
Should I choose the color? I can change it for red after.
Yeah, we can go through and do that later.
I should block it. Yeah, I think red is better, but it's okay. So I think it is fine. Triage accept as well.
Let's just only put one triage label. So
okay. So it's fine. Let's move on. So the next one, it's yours.
This is pretty straightforward. We have a collection of like weird API server things that people can run into. One of the ones I've been seeing a lot recently is like upgrading a V1 Beta 1 CRD to a V1 CRD, kind of by accident, because that you forget that you have a V1 Beta 1 CRD installed, and then the API server returns some really weird errors. But there's a few things in this category, and I think we probably just want to have an FAQ section in the book.
That's fine.
Unless
I put here some examples as well, because we have it just for someone see what
yep,
is the type.
looks good.
The labels, okay, triage. If someone has an objection, please let us know. Triage accepted. The milestones, would you like to put next or nothing?
Sure, it's a docs, so it's kind of asynchronous to the milestone. It's not tied. It's not docs that are tied to a feature, so we can just put it as next.
Okay, so help you wanted. I think it is maybe could be good first issue as well, because it's just a document. But yes, maybe it will be hard who is beginner.
I didn't add good first issue initially just because it requires a little bit more knowledge of like what the particular weird issues are.
Yeah.
And so I figured it would be slightly better for someone with a little bit more Kubernetes experience. Like, even if you have to come and ping me and be like, what did you mean here? Just having a little bit more background on like what's going on is probably helpful.
Makes sense. So next one, this one, it's a question. So let's see. I think, yeah, I need a comment here. Okay. The user follow the documentation to create the watch. I understand that the user would like to create a watch for a resource that is not managed by the controller. Maybe, sorry, you have a better context why we did this implementation or and did not use the attribute, because we have an attribute in the watch is like is controller. I believe that should not it do the same. If we pass false here, I would be able to watch resources that are not managed by the controller.
I mean, sorry, I'm gonna have to look at this issue, I think, in more detail asynchronously. I can add it to my list of things to look at if you want. And respond.
Yeah. I was checking here. I think it's that. So I put triage needs information just to confirm my understanding as well about his question.
This issue looked a little more like a support question than anything else. Just related to what the person expected in terms of like how quickly something in the API, how quickly something would actually be deleted. And it looks like we're just looking for like a path forward, or like what's the best approach to handling this issue, rather than this being something that is on KubeBuilder to fix or introduces a feature.
Yeah, it looks like it's already marked as support, so we can probably just have someone communicate with this offline.
So it's okay. Can we move forward, or someone would like to change the labels or do any suggestion?
You can just leave the labels as it is.
This one has a pull request already. When we did the multi-group support, we have the controllers. When we change the project to support multi-groups, we change the layout. So it's no longer controllers and the switch test go file. So the package in the default layout is calls controllers, but when we change the layout for the multi-group, where we has the path of the group, the file, the switch test file, has the package controllers as well. So TC user, would you like to just have the package name, the group name? So maybe it's easier to show here. It's a very simple change. So if he is multi-group and he has the group just for victory, instead we have the package controllers, we will have the group. Shows reasonable for me, but it doesn't know if someone has some objection. Would you like to say something?
Can you scroll up to the template at the top?
Sure.
Yeah, right there. Right. I mean, I could even see just having the package name be the group package name at all times. I don't know why it needs to be static, but this change works too. I'm fine with it.
It's fine. Feel free to make your suggestions for the contributor as well.
Yeah, I'll follow up on this PR.
So I think we
can mark it as triage accepted, and then
yes.
That's just like we're gonna deal with it.
Perfect. So move on. Okay, this one is a support question. The problem of the user, it shows more control runtime than KubeBuilder, but they have a lot of CRGs, and they would like to filter the watch by a label, which is related, I believe, our work that Chad has been doing the control runtime as well. I suggested the predicates, but I believe that they came with another question because they would like also to filter in the cache. I think
So
we do something like that in SDK.
So they're effectively asking for server-side filtering.
Yeah.
Right. So this is a controller runtime specific thing, and there's already an issue open for that. I don't know if you linked that. I think it's like 244 or something.
Yes,
yeah.
I think it's this one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can either close this as triage accepted. Oh, this is a real old one. Oh no, yeah. So I think we can either close this as triage accepted or not triage accepted, triage duplicate, or I think we have a misfiled label that we use for things that are filed in the wrong repo. I don't remember what it is though. It might have gotten removed when one of the bots swept through and cleared some of our custom labels, which is annoying.
Let's see if it has something with triage. No, triage.
But we can do triage. We can do triage duplicate for now, and note
After
that. Yeah.
And then I will answer, so to Folk explain that should follow up with cheese anyway. What do you think?
Yeah,
Well, it looks
yeah,
like they already gave enough information.
yeah.
Pointed to
You
the
went
relevant
to
upstream issue already.
they were asking about predicates.
Yeah,
It's, you might want to make it more clear that we also have, where 244 is working on non-predicate, like not on watch predicates.
sure.
Yeah, I think they were just confused because you mentioned predicates, which are client-side filtering.
Yeah, they were looking to solve their problem. I think predicates could solve, but not in the cache. Just to like don't reconcile and when in another situations. But
Yeah, I think they were looking to avoid caching too, it looks like.
yeah. I will put it this one to explain better and for me if nobody has objection. Do a conclusion and then close. Let's go. Choose one, choose one, choose one. It is yours. Please. Would you like to speak about the choose one?
Yeah, we have a cloud build configuration that builds snapshot, like basically the equivalence of kind of nightlies, except it builds for every PR of the KubeBuilder binary. And they're currently just not running because they haven't been updated. We should either update them or remove them, I think. We may want to remove them or replace them with like actual nightlies that run every night or something, which I think is still useful, but yeah, someone just needs to go in and update the configuration. They're currently using like a weird hacky Go 113 hacked together build of Go Releaser from a while ago, and so we just need to figure out our new release process and update that.
I think it is one block the release as well.
Yeah, I think we're gonna hit this issue when we get to do the final release, like you're saying. So yeah,
Could you
put it in release 3. It sounds good.
Out of curiosity, why are we moving away from Go Releaser? And I asked because I recently wrote a proposal for Operator SDK that adds Go Releaser. So I'm just curious to hear your opinion.
So I'm not sure. I don't think we necessarily need to move away, but at the very least for release tooling, we have like a separate process for controller runtime and controller tools that we've been using. And so we wanted to unify. And the separate process produces, honestly, I think nicer release notes. And I'm not just saying that because I wrote the other thing. But yeah, so the separate process produces slightly nicer release notes. And so just like having the same release notes process would be nice. I mean, the rest of the release is building binaries, basically, and setting an LD flag for the version. So we could still use Go Releaser for that. But, you know, we could also just like, like 6 to 1/2 dozen the other if we actually like, if Go Releaser is still useful for that. I know at some point there were some serious issues with it, which is why we're using a custom version whose source code I think has unfortunately disappeared somewhere. But if it's working now and we can tell it to not generate release notes for us and use our normal release notes workflow, then that's fine. Otherwise, we should probably move away from it, just so that we have consistency amongst all the repos.
Gotcha. Yeah, thanks for clarifying that. From what I understand, you can use a custom changelog that'll post those release notes in the release. And that's a major reason why we're okay using it in the SDK. But don't want to hold up triage for too much longer because we have 12 more minutes. Thanks for talking about that.
One thing that I believe that we are not doing is asking if someone in the meeting would like to be responsible for the task as well.
Yeah, you can assign me to that, since I remember saying that I was going to be responsible for the 3.0.0 release.
Let me know, Eric, if you have any questions on the release tooling. I uploaded a whole bunch of stuff into the KubeBuilder release tools repo, including some stuff that's just like templates for use in the individual repos. So let me know if you have questions there, or if we can coordinate or whatever. Hopefully it should be pretty clear, but you never know.
I certainly will have questions and will ask you.
Definitely. Okay, so next one. Okay, so this one, it's something that this contributor was speaking with me, and we decided to raise this issue together. Now we have, it is related to multi-group support, because when we change, the default layout has API in the single, and when we move to multi-group support, this can APIs in the plural. So would it be very simple if we have the same nomenclature for both? I don't see any reason for we change the name of the director. Would you simplify things like we have the GT plugin, the GT command that we could do something smart, which is something that this contributor was working on. He'd like that when we run a GT to allow the multi-group support, all files would be fixed by the tool in the new layout instead of be required doing manual steps. So things like that.
So I personally like, well, from what I understand, the API controller versus APIs controllers directories are like the former are a lot simpler, and I think most use cases use non-multi-group, so single group. And so the default project is quite simple and pretty intuitive. And then when you want to move to multi-group, you have the ladder, which is a little bit more complex, but necessarily so because you need more sub packages for your different groups for controllers and APIs. So I think that the idea is that you don't add complexity until you need it.
Yeah.
And that's why I like the current structure. You are right, though. It does add complexity when transitioning to multi-group. But on the flip side, like maybe there should be like known complexity and you should know exactly what's being changed. And perhaps that's why it's manual too. Those are just my 2 cents.
To add on that a little bit. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Did I cut you off at the end there?
No, I'm done.
Okay, so to add on to that a little bit too, like API versus APIs is a visual indicator, or a word indicator, a nomenclature indicator of what you can expect the hierarchy to be, right? Like if you see APIs, you can expect it to be APIs/group/version, and if you see API, you can expect it to just be API/version. This pattern is used elsewhere a bit in Kubernetes too.
Okay.
And so like for people who are used to it, the differentiator between API and APIs is a nice quick, like, what can I expect out of this directory? Which I think is a nice feature, at least.
So do you think that we should keep APIs and APIs to make a very intuitive that is the no multi-group support and multi-group support?
Yeah, that's basically it.
So I think we can triage not accepted has this one.
I think we could probably just close it, honestly.
I'll make a comment before close. I don't know if he's here, just for he knows. Why?
Hey, hello everyone. I'm here. Yeah. So, yeah, we can close this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Maybe just leave a quick comment of like,
yeah,
discussed in the meeting, or like if you want to go back later and leave a reason. But yeah, we can just close it. Yeah, close it afterwards. That way, there's history.
Okay. So has a reason, so it's fine. Okay, the other one was like question. Okay. Question. Okay, this was a supporting how to test external types or third-party APIs. So I think I answered, and now I'm waiting for the feedback.
Yeah, so I actually think this should be marked as a something we should accept. I think this is I get asked this question a lot too. I think this is indicative of a gap in our book documentation. I think we should probably just make a under the cookbooks, like a cookbook section of short recipes, or under the tutorials section or something. We should just have a short recipe. I can comment as such too. Hold on. What's the issue number? We should have a short recipe for this though, because I see this all the time. And I think if you understand actually what's going on under the hood, then this may be kind of obvious. But if you're just starting out, or you're not realizing that, oh, they're all just types, people don't understand that you can just do this. So I think we should add a doc section.
It's 1685. So I put it triage accept. I need to remove this one. Maybe next.
Yeah, put it as next, and I'm going to mark it. I'll mark it help wanted in my comment as well. I think someone could tackle this if they're a little bit familiar.
Yeah, it has an explanation and the other documents and the reference as well, but it would be very nice to have some example. I would document about this. Can we move forward, or I put it in one.
Yeah, I can clean up the labels when I'm finished writing the comment.
We have just 3 minutes as well, so I think we can call the day, unless someone has something to say. Would you like to share some idea, make some question?
How should we handle the remaining backlog? Because we only got through a small subset of all of the issues open right now. I could take a look at these and asynchronously see which ones I'd like to assign to myself. And then maybe in future meetings, we can bring up which issues we're interested in. And then from there, sort out which milestones we want to consider putting them in, / which, if we want to actually address them at all.
I think if we put in the future thing that has not a triage label, then at some moment we will have it like just 5 or 3 per meeting, you know, and you'll be very fast. But you know how we just start, like we have all issues to triage. So this is the challenge.
I would bet that given that we will be doing our triaging during the week in between these meetings, I would bet that we will get through all of these currently open issues within a few meetings. Yeah, I think the rate of us triaging in these meetings is faster than they are actually being created, including the rate at which we actually deal with them during the week. So I say we just try and do what you suggested and see if we can triage all of these open issues. And then the following meetings after that will be a lot easier.
Cool, makes sense.
Yeah, the future will be better. Now it's not too good because it has too much. I think in SDK we had some similar problem when we start, and after now it's like 10 issues per meeting or 5 to 10. So we are done. I think we can finish the record. And that's really thank you for all your commitment and to help folks. And stuff.
Thanks so much for running this and setting this up, Gabby and Camilla.
Really thank you for your help. It would be impossible without you.
Thank you for
right.
joining us.
See y'all at the
All right.
next meeting.
See you.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.